Welcome back to Practice Makeover. Last time, we met Matt Archer and Nina O'Neill, two Raleigh-based investment advisors looking to expand their practice by adding a robo-platform. But adding a platform and succeeding with a platform are two very different things. So we brought on an advisor coach and a rising tech star to weigh the pros and cons.
We believe the work advisors do is noble work, that when they impact the life of one family, they can change generations. And when they grow a great business, a durable and sustainable business, they can change entire communities.
Most people do not want to be self-directed when it comes to their investing, and advisors have the opportunity to use a digital advice platform to really drive their costs down and make it possible for them to profitably serve clients large and small.
Guys, thanks so much for taking the time. Join us here on Practice Makeover.
Glad to be here.
Great to be here. Thanks, Matt.
Now, I think we have a great team here in Raleigh that could really use some of our help as they look to add a robo element to their practice. Aaron, quick question for you. What's the biggest concern you hear from advisors when it comes to adding a robo element to their practice?
Well, I think you've got to step back for a second and ask the question, what does robo really mean? The term robo-advisor is out there, and it's a very loaded term right now, right? For some people, it means really simple, easy-to-use account opening tools. For others, it means the ability to sort of drop into my website a get started button so that self-directed investors can come onto my website and start giving me my money in exchange for no work. And ultimately, that's just not a business model that's going to work for advisors. In the same way that not everybody uses TurboTax to file their taxes because taxes are complicated and important, the same thing is true of wealth management.
When folks come to you and they want to use a robo element or a tech element, what's the mistake they're making that maybe you can help fix?
That's a good question. It's all about strategy. It's about deciding what kinds of services you can provide different types of clients, understanding the needs of those clients, and really designing a firm and a strategy that will help deliver on the promises that they're making to those clients. Anytime an advisory firm is focused on thinking strategically about their future company and thinking about making a move, whether it's adding technology or adding a new market, serving a different type of clientele, it's important to think through both the intended consequences and the unintended consequences. And oftentimes we notice that in the work we're doing as a coaching partner to help be a sounding board for these firms and these advisors so they make all the right moves.
Now, I think there's still a big question, is robo a fad? We did some research at Investment News, a survey of about 400 RIAs, and we asked the question where they think robo is going. Only 7% have a robo platform now. 18% plan to add it in the next year or two, but still 41% have no plan to add this. Aaron, what do you think? Is this a fad? I mean, is this something that can persist long term?
Well, I think that the ones who might describe it as a fad are thinking about quote unquote robo the wrong way because they're thinking about it as, again, a tool to just bring in millennials as opposed to a digital advice platform to really help all of their clients. I mean, if you're talking about equipping your clients with the kinds of technology that can allow them to check things on their own, make small changes without necessarily calling you on the phone. That's something that, it's true, a lot of younger clients want and sort of demand. What we're really talking about here is a platform that lets advisors serve clients in a next generation way.
Now let's talk a little bit about Matt and Nina. The two of them kind of sits on opposite ends of the spectrum here. She's gung-ho right now. He's a little bit skeptical. And the reason he's skeptical, from my perspective at least, is he wants to figure out how this is going to be profitable.
I think the digital advice platform is something that allows them to work on the other side of profitability. It's interesting because when I talk to the small firms will say, well, it really seems like, this kind of digital advice platform is just for the really, really large firms. And when I talk to the large firms, they say, well, it really seems like this kind of digital advice platform is just for the small firms. The reality is it works across the board because every one of these businesses is trying to help their clients get invested the right way. And it democratizes access to advice and drives down the cost for the advisor.
How do we make sure that Matt and Nina succeed here by adding this Robo platform, going through this practice makeover with us?
Well, I think it's the amount of preparation that we see them putting into this process to really think through the aspects of, I'm not going to just drop a button onto the front page of my website and call that a day, right? Where it's not, if you build it, they will come. We're going to, number one, we're going to put a digital advice platform in place that helps us shrink our costs and make things more scalable and give us that technology platform so we can leverage our time and, sort of put the hassles of our business on autopilot so we can focus on our clients. And then, as Ray's talking about, we're gonna build that front end process of what does the communication strategy look like? How are we going to present this to our clients, and how are we going to really change what we're offering and really communicate what we're offering so that our advocates can continue to be advocates for us in the future and watch that growth happen?
So Ray, Aaron brings up a great point there, which is it's not if you build it, they will come. How are you going to help them build a plan so they can get new clients on here and ultimately this can succeed?
Sure. So from a consulting perspective, the work that Aaron's going to do in helping them sort of implement this makes a lot of good sense. From a coaching perspective, though, I've got to help them get really clear about their communication strategy and their marketing plan. And one of the things I know they're going to need to do more of is to go listen to their advocates. When firms are thinking about adding a new piece of technology or thinking about this robo-advisor, one of the areas that they fail to focus on is how their clients, their advocates, will react to this new level of service. Clearly, serving a younger generation, serving an entrepreneur who maybe has the largest percentage of the wealth tied up in the business, there's a clear need here. And obviously, this is a disruptive technology. But where advisors fail is by not thinking through those unintended consequences. And I'm hopeful that Archer will do the work necessary to ask their advocates, ask their clients, partner in a way that they can get the outcomes that they're hoping for.
So it sounds like we have a little bit of a plan. First, Ray, you're going to sit down with Matt and Nina and talk a little bit about all these elements, all these things they have to work on, and create a little bit of that marketing plan. But I realize that may happen after this first meeting,
and whether
too.
or not they've actually thought through all of what it's going to take to do this. I mean, it sounds real sexy on the surface, but when you get to the details, it really, there's a lot to do.
Absolutely. And then, Aaron, I'm going to have you kind of talk a little more nuts and bolts with them, how this platform is going to work. Some of those account minimum discussions are going to be important to have here, too, because I think they're going to have a lot of questions when it comes to compliance and all these little details. They're going to be critical to the success of this.
Absolutely.
Excellent. We got a strategy. Let's get going, guys. I think this is going to be fantastic.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.